My family and I got to take the most amazing cruise to Alaska this summer. If you want to hear how we did it, from luggage to food to excursions, stay tuned. Hello and welcome. If you haven't tuned in before, my name is Emily. I'm the owner of Larksong Travel. And in this video, I wanted to give you guys a taste of what it's like to go on an amazing Alaskan cruise. I just wanted to say before we get started that the photos and videos you see in this video cannot begin to do it justice. I was absolutely blown away by the scenery there. So as you're watching, I want you to just keep this video in mind and kick it up about 1,000 points, because that's what it was like. So our cruise left out of Vancouver in Canada, and we stayed at the Pan Pacific in Vancouver. This is an amazing hotel that is right next to the cruise port. So you can walk out the door and walk right onto this ship. They even take your luggage down for you. And I wanted to point out that I highly recommend getting these little clear luggage tags to put the paper tags you get from Holland America in so they don't fall off. We ate a delicious buffet breakfast at the Pan Pacific before walking out the door and getting right on board our ship. The customs process couldn't have been easier, and it was so nice to not have to worry about hopping in a shuttle or a taxi to get anywhere to get on the ship. We sailed on the Koningsdam, which is a mid to larger size ship for Holland America, and it is beautiful. This is one of our favorite spots. It was the ocean bar, where we would sit and have happy hours and watch the amazing scenery go by. They have a bunch of specialty drinks that they tailor to the Alaska cruise. This was a smoked whiskey that my husband got that he loved. And I got several gin-based drinks that were made with Glacier ice. So that was really fun. And the staff, it was really friendly, and we had a great time. The Koningsdam has several entertainment venues. They had the Rolling Stones Rock Room, BB King's, and during the day they would have different lectures or, informational events here, and then at night they always had fantastic music playing. Another of our favorite places was the Grand Dutch Cafe, where you can get delicious pastries and to die for coffee and relax in this little seating area. The coffee is included on some dining and drinking packages. And our favorite was the bashi ball, which is a chocolate pastry with cream inside. We thought the accommodations on the Koningsdam were really comfortable. My parents had a veranda room with a pull-out couch, and they loved being able to use the binoculars in the room to sit out on the balcony and watch the scenery go by. It has a lot of storage, so you can unpack and then really feel like you're at home on your trip. And the bathrooms are really, really nice sized for a cruise ship. My dad even said the shower was one of the best showers he had been on in a cruise ship. My family of 4 stayed in the signature suite. They had amazing storage. Everyone got their own closet, and I was able to unpack all of our suitcases. And I also, tip right here, pack a pop-up laundry hamper that I put in one of the closets, so that really saves all of our laundry being thrown everywhere. So there's a pull-down Murphy bed in this wall that one of my sons slept on, and then this chaise lounge converts into another twin bed. So my other son slept on that. So we really felt like we had a lot of room. We've been crammed in many hotels, and this was the nicest place that we've stayed. The bathroom was huge for a cruise. It had a jetted tub and a nice shower. The only thing I would say is that we didn't enjoy the smell of the shampoo and body wash. So if that's something that's important to you, maybe bring your own, but maybe you'll like it. That's a very personal thing. But we were really, really pleased with how comfortable and nice these accommodations were. One thing I will always recommend to my clients for Alaskan cruises is to get a room with a balcony. We saw whale flukes, we saw waterfalls, glaciers, all while having our morning coffee or a beverage out on our own veranda at night. And yes, you can see all these things from the main deck, but it is so nice to just slip away sometimes and relax on your own private deck. So after we got settled, we were off and we launched from Vancouver, and what a beautiful sight to watch Vancouver receding in the background. Really, there was never a moment when the view off the ship wasn't absolutely spectacular. We had a full day of cruising the Inside Passage to get to our first port. So we spent that day exploring the ship, swimming, and eating. My kids loved the outdoor pool and the burger place, which had really good burgers and fries. We listened to a wonderful presentation about Native Alaskans on the world stage and just explored the ship that had so many cool things, as well as unlimited ice cream and champagne and strawberries on the veranda for Mom. That night, we ate at the specialty restaurant, Pinnacle Grill, which is the steakhouse. I would highly recommend this specialty restaurant. Our first port stop was in Juneau, where we took an excursion to visit the Mendenhall Glacier. This was a great excursion for us because the glacier has a trail that was completely accessible. So my husband could navigate it in his wheelchair and we could all do it together. You could take the trail up to a vantage point where you could see Nugget Falls and the glacier, and then you could walk further down to come right up to the falls itself. Now that part of the trail wasn't accessible, so my husband did stay at the viewing point, and while the boys and I went down to see the Nugget Falls up close. One must-do thing in Juneau is, of course, Tracy's King Crab Shack, where you can get Alaskan king crab legs. I loved the crab bisque and this Alaskan ale. Our next port of call was in Skagway. I think my whole family voted this our favorite because we all loved the history behind the town. So Skagway is all about Alaska's gold rush, and you can still see some of the buildings that were there way back when. We, for our excursion, went and took an off-Holland America excursion, and we took a bus tour that went all the way up into the Canadian Yukon territory. When I say this is some of the most beautiful scenery I've ever seen, I am not exaggerating. Plus, we saw a bear. Part of what made the tour so amazing was the guide we had, who told so many amazing stories from people who had come up to Alaska for the gold rush. He kept us all entertained for 6 hours. My kids' favorite part of this voyage was visiting the sled dog camps. These dogs, this was their summer training facility, and they pulled go-karts that you could pay to ride. And the excitement levels when the go-karts came around the corner were hysterical to watch. As part of that tour, we also got to pet the puppies and visit and shop in a native Tlingit town. The next day, we got to spend the entire day cruising in Glacier Bay National Park. So it was really cool because we picked up a park ranger, which if you can get up early enough to see or catch them when they leave the boat, a little boat drives up and they hop off onto a door in the ship. It is really cool to watch. They served hot chocolate for the kids on board, and this was one of the most fantastic things I've ever seen. It's really hard to tell from these pictures and videos the size and scale of it, but for reference, there's a tiny black dot you can see down there on the left-hand side, and that is a canoe full of people. So these are huge glaciers. Holland also had
documentaries that you could watch in the stateroom about Glacier Bay. So we did that, and it was really cool to have that background before we saw it all the next day. And our last port stop was in Ketchikan. It was a beautifully warm day, just perfect for us to go sea kayaking as a family. This was so cool. We saw eagles. There was a rather annoyed sea lion who thought we got close to his territory. We saw some seals basking. This was one of my son's favorite adventures. And back in town, be sure to try the Alaska Fish House. This was some of the best fish and chips that I've ever had. And then sadly, the 7 nights were over and it was time to head out from Alaska. But not before I enjoyed a relaxing massage in the spa on board.
Thanks so much for watching. I hope this video either inspired you to put Alaska on your bucket list, or if it's already there, to start planning. And of course, if you want help sorting through all of the cruise lines and excursions and don't even know where to begin, you can head over to www.larksongtravel.com and schedule a free consultation, and I would love to help you plan your family's bucket list adventure. And if you found this video helpful in any way, be sure to like it and subscribe to my channel so you can follow along with all of my travel updates.